1. The kingship of self-control. A person has two fundamental creators, their divine essence and themselves. Their initial creator provides the foundation and rules for shaping their life, while their second creator, themselves, possesses remarkable abilities they often underestimate. Ultimately, it's the choices and actions an individual takes to mold themselves that truly define who they become. When someone experiences failure, they often attribute it to their birth nature, saying, "I am as God made me." However, when they achieve success, they take credit by proclaiming themselves a self-made individual. Humans are not fixed entities, but rather potentialities. A person's greatest adversary is typically their own limitations and biases. In times of weakness, an individual is shaped by external circumstances. In moments of strength, they shape those same circumstances. Ultimately, whether one emerges as a victim or victor largely depends on the choices and efforts made by that person themselves. A person's greatness isn't defined by their current state, but rather by their potential and what they may achieve in the future. It's not until one becomes aware of the grandeur of their potential and the significance of living the life entrusted to them as an individual responsibility that they truly begin to flourish. Until then, they're just drifting through time, unaware of their true capabilities. To gain a deeper understanding of one's life purpose, it's essential to retreat into the inner sanctum of spiritual contemplation, much like Christ ventured into the garden before facing his ultimate trial. By doing so, an individual can recharge and awaken to their inherent value as a unique being. With a refined mind and invigorated spirit, they can then confront the challenges of everyday life with renewed vitality and clarity. Individuals should shift from a self-deprecating mindset, "I'm just a feeble worm," to one of empowerment, "I am a remarkable human with vast potential." With this elevated perspective on life, they can strive for personal mastery and achieve their full potential through discipline. The self-control demonstrated in both historic accomplishments and everyday moments is the same in nature, differing only in scope. This control is achievable if one is willing to put in the effort. It's simply a matter of making the necessary sacrifices. Human beings possess a distinctive attribute, self-control, which distinguishes them from other creatures. Unlike any other species, humans can engage in an internal moral conflict or emerge victorious in their pursuit of moral excellence. This unique capacity sets us apart and highlights the significance of cultivating self-discipline. Throughout history, humanity has steadily advanced by breaking free from the dominance of one fact or phenomenon to grasp and wield its power. What once inspired fear, like the lightning bolt, is now harnessed as electricity, a force we've domesticated and utilized in countless ways. These electrical innovations serve as examples of our mastery over natural forces. However, the most significant control of all remains self-control, the ultimate expression of human dominance over our own selves. At every point in life, humans are either in control or under control. When they yield to base desires and succumb to their weaknesses, they become enslaved by circumstances, environments, or personal failings. Conversely, as they consistently overcome their flaws, harness conflicting aspects within themselves, and rebuild a stronger self from past mistakes, they rise to be true monarchs, rulers of their own domain, wise and in control. Even the most powerful individuals, like Alexander who conquered the world, can still fall prey to their inner passions, ultimately becoming their own slave. We often covet what others possess, whether it's a fleeting, wistful longing for something like a monarch's crown, or a sense of satisfaction, or a more bitter resentment towards the perceived, unfair distribution of wealth and happiness. In either case, we may ultimately resign ourselves to our circumstances, feeling powerless to change our situation. We often feel envious of someone's achievements without recognizing the arduous journey they took to get there. For instance, when looking at Eugen Sandow's impressive physique, it's easy to overlook that he was once a frail child, so weak that his survival was uncertain. Instead of just envying the end result, we should focus on understanding and adopting the hard work, dedication, and perseverance that led to his success. We might admire the remarkable accomplishments of individuals like Paul, unaware that their transformation to such empowered figures stemmed from their own discipline in overcoming their humble beginnings as ordinary people like Saul of Tarsus. We often overlook the numerous examples of triumphs around us, intellectual, moral, physical, economic, or spiritual, where ultimate victory stemmed from humble origins that were less fortunate than our current situation. Anyone can develop self-control by making consistent efforts, no matter how small. One shouldn't anticipate instant results, but rather view it as a gradual process of investing energy. Like an installment plan, nature allows individuals to make incremental payments and stores these efforts for future use when needed, so that no one is too disadvantaged to start. The efforts one makes to endure life's minor challenges are saved by nature as a reserve of energy ready to be tapped during times of crisis. In harmony with nature, every mental, physical, or moral effort made in doing good is stored up and transformed into inner strength. Nature does not demand immediate full repayment for its principles. This would be unfair to those who struggle and are vulnerable. Nature's approach to change is gradual, through continuous progress. People can't instantly form habits or overcome them, but rather it's a process of growth and development. However, at any given moment, an individual can initiate the formation or breaking of a habit. This understanding of personal character growth should be a powerful motivator for anyone sincerely seeking to reach their full potential. Developing self-control is similar to strengthening a weak muscle through consistent, small exercises. Each day we should practice disciplines that are unpleasant for us, allowing them to translate into swift action when needed. These exercises can be simple: putting down an engrossing book at a crucial point, getting out of bed immediately upon waking, walking instead of taking a car when able, or engaging in amiable conversation with someone unpleasant. By performing these daily moral disciplines, we will experience a profound, invigorating effect on our entire moral character. For one to achieve self-discipline in significant areas of life, they must first develop control over smaller, seemingly insignificant habits and tendencies. Identify the personal weaknesses holding you back. Is it selfishness, vanity, fear, or something else? Once discovered, focus on each day as if it's your last, without dwelling on past regrets or worrying about the future. Instead, strive to master your weaknesses in real time, making every moment a triumph for self-governance or a surrender to those vices. Ultimately, you get to decide: will you be the ruler of your life or its slave? The choice is yours. 2. The crimes of the tongue. The most devastating weapon of destruction isn't a physical device, but rather the power of words, specifically gossip and criticism. While a dynamite gun can only take lives, a malicious tongue can devastate reputations and even destroy characters. Unlike a gun, which acts alone, a poisonous tongue has many accomplices in the form of listeners who spread its negative impact. The damage caused by a gun is immediate and visible, whereas the harm inflicted by a tongue can linger for years, with even divine scrutiny struggling to fully comprehend the extent of its destruction. Words that cause harm through unkindness, anger, malice, envy, bitterness, harsh criticism, gossip, lying, or scandal can inflict immense suffering on a nation, far more so than physical crimes like theft and murder. In fact, when comparing the effects of these two types of offences on society, you might be surprised to see that the supposed crimes of everyday people, their hurtful words and actions, greatly outweigh those committed by criminals in terms of overall pain and sorrow caused. This becomes even more striking when one balances the negative consequences of criminal acts against the devastating impact of thoughtless or malicious verbal behavior, revealing a scale that might initially seem tipped in favor of physical crimes, but ultimately tilts dramatically towards the latter. Few people experience harm from violent crimes, even indirectly. However, the hurt caused by malicious words from friends or enemies can be widespread and difficult to escape. No person can lead a life so perfect that they're completely immune to malice or envy-driven attacks. Insidious attempts to ruin one's reputation through subtle insults, half-truths, or innuendos are often more damaging than overt aggression. These attacks, like parasites, can slowly destroy even the strongest individuals, making them hard to anticipate and prepare for, much like trying to dodge microbes rather than elephants. In London, a new organization called the Anti-Scandal League has emerged. Its members vow to actively confront and counter the pervasive practice of gossiping about others and the devastating outcomes that often go unnoticed. They aim to address this widespread issue through their collective efforts. Scandalous talk is just one form of wrongdoing originating from the tongue, but it's far from the only offense. Each person who spreads scandal unknowingly invests in a societal disease that contaminates moral values. As punishment, nature reacts by dulling their sensitivity to goodness and purity, leaving them numb to the warmth of kindness. A peculiar mental distortion emerges, where others' actions are consistently misconstrued with the worst intention. These individuals are like flies attracted to rot, ignoring the beauty around them to feast on the decay. Their sense of smell is incredibly attuned to sniff out the rottenness they feed on. The passage describes various forms of pain caused by hurtful words, pillows stained by tears of sorrow, hearts shattered in silence, gentle souls, scarred and distorted, once close friends drifting apart with no hope left, and painful misunderstandings casting a dark shadow over life. These are just a few examples of the many sufferings that arise from thoughtless speech. A person can live an upright life, courageously fighting for what matters most to them, convinced of the righteousness of their action. Yet they might not anticipate how easily evil can arise and spread through malicious whispers, piercing glances, or disdainful body language. A casual remark, a meaningful stare, or a dismissive gesture can suddenly isolate someone, making them question the unseen force that led to this drastic change in relationships and attitude. The person may feel bewildered by the sudden estrangement, wondering at the abstract, intangible power that brought about such a dramatic shift. The modern media frenzy for sensational news is largely to blame for the obsession with scandal. Each newspaper or media outlet serves as numerous voices broadcasting the same salacious story to a vast audience. Sensationalism's vultures sniff out moral transgressions from afar, gathering and displaying humanity's shortcomings globally. They don't even need facts, as people's morbid curiosity and vivid imaginations can transform real events into sensationalized monstrosity. These stories and the debates they spark foster in readers a lowbrow ability to misinterpret and distort the actions of those around them. When someone of means donates to charity publicly, people assume it's for self-promotion or business benefits. If they donate anonymously, others speculate that it's still a strategic move to generate curiosity and publicity later. Meanwhile, if the same individual doesn't give to charity at all, they're likely to be branded as stingy, much like their supposed peers. The constant criticism suggests that virtuous actions are often viewed with suspicion, noble intentions are seen as pretenses, and generosity is perceived as a calculated move rather than an altruistic act. The gossiping tendency is quick to discredit genuine good deeds, always looking for ulterior motives. Individuals who excel or stand out among others should prepare themselves for jealousy and resentment from those who feel inferior. This comes at a cost, as they are often subject to criticism and negativity. A particularly despicable literary figure is Iago, whose envy and malicious schemes drive the plot of Shakespeare's Othello. Iago felt belittled when Cassio was promoted ahead of him and grew to despise Othello as a result. He had an insecure personality that fixated on preserving his dignity, claiming to protect his honor, even though it was already non-existent. Over time, Iago gradually fed Othello with venomous lies, subtly cultivating resentment and plotting revenge by spreading distrust and suspicion. With a singularly focused mind driven by malice, he constructed a web of incriminating clues around the unsuspecting Desdemona, ultimately orchestrating her murder through Othello's actions. Desdemona's trusting nature, simplicity, and innocence made her particularly vulnerable to Iago's deceitful tactics. Iago's malevolent influence lingers on, with countless people inheriting his petty spite but not his cunning wit. The relentless barrage of deceitful whispers, fueled by jealousy, has eroded the honor of many esteemed individuals in far too many cases. We often rush to judgment, accepting what we hear without questioning it, especially when someone presents us with a seemingly convincing case, like modern-day Iago claiming where there's smoke, there must be fire. However, that fire might not be an authentic blaze, but rather one fueled by malice and envy, intentionally tarnishing another person's good name due to jealousy of their success. Three. The red tape of duty. The concept of duty is often overemphasized and misunderstood. It represents the fundamental structure of morality, but it's a dry, stripped-down version of what's truly right. Duty views life as an obligation to fulfill, whereas love sees it as an opportunity to gather rewards. While duty focuses on making payments, love centers around receiving benefits. Duty can be seen as a compulsory action, much like pumping water from a well, whereas love arises naturally, similar to a spring bubbling up. Duty often follows strict guidelines and protocols, feeling more like adhering to rules and regulations than an authentic expression of oneself. While it might serve as a solid foundation, it is insufficient on its own. True fulfillment requires the spontaneity and freedom of love. The story often told to children about the boy who remained faithful to his duty, even giving up his life in the process, is actually an example of blind adherence to rules rather than true commitment. The boy relied on external authority for guidance and failed to take initiative during a crisis. His sacrifice was ultimately meaningless, as it didn't benefit anyone, not the father, the ship, the nation, or even himself. It was a tragic loss of human life without any positive outcome. The captain who sacrifices himself when he could have saved his own life without shame may be mistakenly driven by a sense of duty. He overlooks the loved ones on shore and the value of his own life. His decision is motivated by either a desire for a dramatic exit, fear of scrutiny, or a misguided devotion to duty. However, a human life with all its promise and potential, is too precious to be given up so recklessly. The story goes that at Pompeii, the remains of a Roman soldier were discovered, centuries later, encased in lava that engulfed the city. He was standing guard at a gate, sword still clutched in his bony hand, even though he had been long dead. His dedication to duty, despite being freed from it by a cataclysmic natural event, is eerily reminiscent of an automaton performing its programmed actions with unwavering precision and futility. That the individual who dedicates an hour to selfless, devoted service for humanity's benefit accomplishes more meaningful and noble work than countless individuals fulfilling obligations out of obligation alone. This perspective doesn't condone abandoning one's responsibility when needed. Instead, it critiques the overemphasis on rigid duty at the expense of its genuine purpose, which is often lost in the pursuit of mere formality. Examine legendary acts of loyalty to duty, and when they resonate as authentic, you'll discover the core element that elevated them to near divinity. This essence wasn't just a sense of duty, rather, it was the harmonious blend of duty and love. For instance, Grace Darling's selfless act of venturing into a treacherous storm 60 years ago to rescue survivors from the Forfarshire wreck wasn't solely driven by duty. It was her commitment to duty, infused with compassion for humanity, fueled by a courageous heart filled with divine empathy and understanding. Duty can be a stern and uncompromising force that compels people to act without tapping into their heart's natural inclination to do what brings joy. It pales in comparison to the powerful inspiration of love, which is insufficient as a primary motivator for driving humanity forward. While duty serves as the physical framework, love infuses it with life and purpose. In the transformative power of life, love can convert duties into opportunities and responsibilities into pleasures. A person fulfilling their responsibilities on time, such as a worker who stops at noon, is performing a necessary task, but it's not enough to guarantee success or prepare for eternal life. To truly succeed and make a lasting impact, one must go beyond just doing their duty. When passion and love are infused into the work, exceeding expectations becomes a natural byproduct. A nurse might carry out their responsibilities with dedication by a patient's side, but to a mother, the care and effort invested in her child during a critical moment is not just a duty. It's an act of love that infuses every move with devotion. The concept of duty even sounds incongruous when applied, as if it were an irreverent interruption in the profound emotional connection between mother and child. When an adult turns out poorly, their parent might claim, "I did my part by them." However, this excuse often rings hollow because it typically means providing the basics: food, shelter, clothing, and education. These are things a public institution could offer. What children truly need is an abundance of love, affection, guidance, and trust in a nurturing environment. Parents should be a constant source of comfort, support, and inspiration rather than just suppliers of necessities. The notion that mere duty suffices is a perilous mindset in modern society, leading to empty boasts rather than genuine parental involvement. Christianity uniquely centers around the concept of love rather than obligation. In fact, the entirety of Christian duties can be summarized as one fundamental command: love. This single principle of love allows us to accomplish what would otherwise take great effort in a swift and effortless manner. Contrary to popular notion, Christianity doesn't eliminate or dismiss duty. Instead, it elevates and refines it by infusing it with the transformative power of love, smoothing out its harsh edges in the process. In the grand tapestry of human history, the most remarkable display of generosity doesn't stem from the lavish contributions of a prominent figure, but rather from the humble offering of a nameless widow. Unlike the latter's donation, which was not motivated by a sense of obligation, it was an unencumbered and wholehearted gift from someone overflowing with affection. In contrast to the Bible's fleeting mentions of duty, the theme of love is woven throughout its pages, a testament to its profound significance in human experience. In overcoming personal flaws, achieving inner fortitude, and fostering genuine connections with oneself and others, it is essential to prioritize love as a guiding principle rather than merely adhering to obligation. Love should be the rallying cry for our self-improvement journey. To lead authentic lives, where our words hold equal weight as our commitments, we should strive to cultivate a genuine passion for truth rather than simply adhering to moral obligations out of duty. Let sincerity and honesty permeate our thoughts and daily routines, so that the value of honesty becomes deeply ingrained within us. As we develop a profound respect for the truth, an instinctual aversion to deception will emerge, guiding our actions without deliberate effort. To positively impact the world, we should cultivate a profound appreciation for humanity as a whole. Recognize that beneath our individual differences, there's a fundamental oneness that connects every human being, making us all siblings by nature. As this understanding deepens, petty rivalries, ill will, and hurtful judgments will be overshadowed and ultimately erased by the radiant warmth of love and compassion. The 19th century's most significant achievement wasn't its impressive technological advancements, educational progress, geographical explorations, or widespread elevation in cultural awareness and prosperity, though these were notable accomplishments. Rather, it was the prevailing sense of peace that enveloped nations worldwide, fostering a growing unity among the people of the earth. Peace is essentially love's breath, essence, and lifeblood. Love, as the vital force of life, effortlessly clears the path of duty by dispelling sorrow and suffering, just as an angel would roll away obstacles from a smooth journey. Whoa! The supreme charity of the world, true charity goes beyond mere financial donations or material aid. While providing basic necessities like food, clothing, and money is a start, it's just the foundation of genuine compassion. Real charity has more refined and selfless expressions. At its core, charity is an innate desire for justice in life, striving to mend society's imperfections, console those who are sorrowful, empower those who struggle, be gentle with human frailties, and most importantly, follow the divine commandment, do not judge. The ultimate embodiment of true charity is justice's scales, perpetually suspended and never at rest, continually collecting evidence for each individual's judgment. Recognizing our own limitations and frailties, we must refrain from imposing final verdicts on others, instead striving to cultivate greater discernment, purity, and sensitivity in our evaluations of those around us as the balance tiptoes between moral weight. It's unfortunate that the most significant concepts are often misused or trivialized. People may claim to be passionate about analyzing character, but what they're really doing is observing surface-level traits. The true study of character is a complex and nuanced process, as it encompasses a multitude of subtle and shifting aspects, habits, aspirations, tendencies, ideals, motivations, weaknesses, cultural influences, and personal history, all interwoven in various ways to shape an individual's multifaceted personality. To truly comprehend someone's character, one needs only one thing: complete knowledge, omniscience. Most people analyze character by focusing on its flaws, much like a proofreader scrutinizes every detail of a poem, missing the beauty and artistry in the process. They're adept at spotting errors, but lack insight into the depths and potential of human nature. Those who consider themselves perceptive at detecting others' weaknesses, vanity or deceit, only understand the low points people can reach, not the heights they can achieve. Optimism arises when one has coexisted with humanity without being jaded by its imperfections. We rarely witness someone's true intentions. Instead, we assess them based on their outcomes. Our understanding of individuals is shaped by the consequences of their actions, and we often attribute various motivations to them, despite the limitations of our knowledge. Since the beginning of time, no one has lived a life so flawless that they've escaped misperception by those around them. Just as convex or concave mirrors distort reflections, people's perceptions can never present an entirely accurate representation of someone else. When someone experiences adversity, it's common for people to attribute it to divine punishment. However, who can truly claim to know the intentions of a higher power? It's likely that people are simply drawing hasty conclusions based on their own misfortunes. When we face hardship ourselves, we often view it as a mistake or something intended for someone else. Rather than focusing on our own shortcomings and tending to our personal gardens, we tend to excessively observe the lives of others and neglect our own growth. A discarded bottle can travel thousands of miles, driven by wind, weather, and currents, arriving at an unforeseen destination. Similarly, thoughtless words, even if spoken innocently, can drift through unknown channels and bring pain and ruin to unsuspecting individuals. A single careless remark or a deliberate silence can demolish someone's hard-earned reputation in an instant, much like how a sudden movement can irreparably damage the intricate web of a spider, which it has painstakingly created using its own life force. The collective power of the universe cannot restore such delicate structures to their original state. We overestimate the necessity of constant judgment, perpetuated by the rapid pace of modern life and sensational media. Even in high-profile cases like murder trials, it's challenging to find individuals who haven't already formed an opinion after reading a biased newspaper account. Many people confidently declare their verdicts as if they have all the answers, despite often lacking complete information. The ideal approach is one of humility and open-mindedness, exemplified by agnosticism in judging others, delaying judgment until hearing both sides, and acknowledging the uncertainty, thus showing true charity through suspended judgment. We often grant criminals a fair trial, even when evidence is circumstantial, yet readily dismiss our closest friends based on limited sensory information. This hasty judgment can sever lifelong bonds without giving the person a chance to clarify their actions. The consequences are devastating, leaving us with a deep sense of loss and regret. If we're capable of such injustice towards those we love, how much more severe must be our uninformed judgments about others? We're unaware of the hardships, pain, and inner battles faced by those around us. People may conceal their deep sorrows behind a facade of happiness, with tears secretly falling on their pillows. What appears to be a normal life might actually be marred by hidden struggles that accelerate aging, turning hair gray and altering personalities in a brief span. We often tell someone who appears tranquil and cheerful, "You must be overjoyed. You have everything one could want." But it's possible that in this very moment they're secretly enduring a crushing sorrow, their emotions so intense that they struggle to contain them without revealing the pain on their face. In such moments, words of trivial comfort can feel like a jarring shock, leaving us feeling disconnected and alienated from other people, as if we were truly from another world. Let's refrain from imposing our judgments on others, causing them unnecessary pain. To do so, we must first govern our thoughts and stop constantly criticizing people, even in private. Through daily self-control exercises, we can learn to turn off judgmental tendencies, like turning off a gas supply. We should eliminate pride, passion, personal biases, prejudices, and petty attitudes from our minds, making room for more elevated emotions. Charity isn't just a principle, but an encompassing atmosphere. To practice charity in judging, let's strive to uncover the good in others, rather than focusing on their flaws. This requires the perspective of charity, where we see potential in people, like recognizing a butterfly within a caterpillar. If we want to live up to our true potential and dignity, our guiding motto should be "Judge not," as taught by the ultimate example of supreme charity. 5. Worry, the great American disease. Excessive worry can be a silent killer, having severe physiological and psychological effects. It can lead to a range of issues, including loss of appetite, insomnia, respiratory problems, digestive issues, irritability, and even character distortion. Moreover, chronic worrying can erode mental clarity, contribute to the onset of illnesses, and compromise overall physical well-being. In reality, worry is the underlying cause of death in countless cases where an official diagnosis is listed differently on a death certificate. The worry is likened to toxic poison, whereas productive work serves as nourishing sustenance for one's mind. When a child's intense focus on studies hinders their sleep, or they restlessly move around in bed, repeating mental exercises aloud, it's a sign that they're experiencing undue stress. This is a natural warning from nature for parents to take notice and intervene with compassion. Parents should firmly step in by adjusting the child's daily responsibilities, alleviating their concentration tension, and shortening their educational obligations to prevent excessive pressure. When individuals mentally rehash the stresses of their daily lives during sleep, constantly replaying and analyzing events of the day, it can be a sign of overwork and worry, often stemming from excessive labor. The Creator did not intend for a healthy mind to dwell on daily responsibilities in dream. Instead, restful slumber or nostalgic reveries about past times should dominate one's nocturnal hours. When a persistent grief, fear, or sorrow interrupts your focus, overpowering your thoughts, the individual faces a risk. If a distressing memory or concern dominates your mind, drowning out external stimuli, you are indeed worrying. And when this preoccupation occupies every moment of your day, it's essential to address and eliminate this worry, effectively putting an end to its hold on you. The brilliant minds of our era have made remarkable breakthroughs by studying nature and understanding its intricate systems. They found that every created thing has a role to play. These visionaries will guide you away from thoughtless actions, like killing flies with sweetened glue, because flies are nature's scavengers. They'll illuminate the unique responsibilities of even the tiniest microorganisms with elaborate names. In their most enthusiastic moments, they might convince you that mosquitoes too have a purpose in nature, though no one can honestly praise worry as a positive force. Worry is a form of unproductive mental preparation that yields unnecessary suffering in the present while fixating on potential future trouble. It can lead to sleepless nights, insomnia, and hinder one's effectiveness by sapping their mental energy and focus. Worry masquerades as a way to cope with the present and prepare for the future, but actually creates internal turmoil, weakening one's resolve and capacity to handle challenges. In essence, worry betrays our own inner resources, undermining our ability to tackle difficulties head-on. The worry is a state where the mind becomes preoccupied with an indefinite, restless, and anxious thought. This single idea drains mental energy that should be directed towards daily responsibilities, silently diverting it and rendering it ineffective. Moreover, the unconscious mind's full potential for creativity and success, typically responsible for our greatest achievements, is instead channeled into worry, resulting in wasted capacity. While worry and anxiety share similar connotations, they have distinct nuances. The worry implies a sense of constriction or hindrance on one's actions due to concern. In contrast, anxiety involves confronting life's significant challenges with composure and dignity. Anxiety also inherently carries a glimmer of hope, as it prompts proactive preparation and strategy making for various potential outcomes. Worry isn't a single overwhelming concern, but rather a multitude of small, obscure, and seemingly insignificant anxieties that collectively assume greater importance due to their persistence and repetitive nature. These minor fears, when combined, can manifest as a pervasive and debilitating anxiety. When loss strikes and we're left alone with our grief, it's normal to feel overwhelmed by despair, emptiness, and loneliness. This intense sorrow isn't something to be hastily dismissed. Rather, it can serve as a transformative experience that may ultimately lead to personal renewal. It's the pervasive habit of dwelling on minor setbacks and letting them overshadow joy that I'm warning against here, not the natural and necessary process of grieving in the face of profound loss. To overcome worrying, an individual must take a proactive approach and treat their anxiety like a personal health crisis. They must deeply internalize and truly believe that worry is completely futile and pointless. This isn't just theoretical advice, it's a tangible truth that requires personal understanding. It's essential to grasp that no matter how long you worry, the outcome won't change in the slightest. Worry hinders both thought and action, making it an ineffective response to problems. Just as altering individual figures can alter the total sum in a math problem, changing one's actions or mindset can produce different results in life. Mathematics demonstrates that worrying won't alter reality. Only taking control of the variables can bring about change. At the moment when concerns arise, it's crucial for an individual not to worry about anything else. This is typically when they're faced with a pivotal situation that requires their undivided attention. To navigate through this challenging period successfully, one needs 1/100 of their mental focus to swiftly devise plans, discern the best course of action, maintain a sharp awareness of potential risks and opportunities, and firmly control the direction until they've safely overcome the obstacle. There are two fundamental reasons why one should not worry. Either the feared outcome is unavoidable or it's preventable. If circumstances are beyond control, focusing on mental fortitude can help cope with the situation and plan a new future. On the other hand, if the feared outcome can be prevented, worrying would be an unnecessary waste of energy at a critical moment. Instead, proactive effort should be made to avert the potential harm. By consistently doing their utmost with available knowledge and insight, individuals have nothing to dread, lament, or be anxious about. Such distressing emotions wouldn't contribute positively in any way. Moreover, neither humans nor even divine beings are capable of surpassing their own best efforts. Reflecting on our past, we discover that our most joyful moments and greatest achievements often arose from areas of profound sorrow and failure. We come to understand that current happiness and success would not have been possible without preceding struggles or hardships, which served as transformative forces in shaping our character and destiny. This awareness should motivate us to persevere through life's challenges, recognizing the potential for growth and positivity in even the darkest moments. Overcoming worry is a challenging process that can't be solved by superficial methods or simplistic philosophies. Instead, it necessitates applying straightforward, practical common sense to daily life. As individuals, we have an obligation not only to ourselves, but also to our loved ones, communities, and the world at large. We must conserve our energy and maintain our influence because of these responsibilities. Six, the greatness of simplicity. Simplification is about removing the unimportant in all aspects, bringing life down to its most fundamental necessities while amplifying one's capability. In essence, Simplicity allows the best, not just the strongest, to thrive. Morally, it eradicates vices and weaknesses, giving virtues and strengths room to flourish. By eliminating waste, simplicity fosters focus and elevates effectiveness, transforming casual illumination into powerful beacons of insight. Core truths are straightforward. The essence of Christianity can be distilled into a few words, though a lifetime is spent seeking to make those words a living reality through thoughts and action. A true Christian's personal beliefs are often simpler than their church's creed. They focus on the fundamental aspects and build their life upon them. Higher criticism may analyze in detail, but it doesn't touch the simplicity of genuine faith. Christians don't get bogged down in trivial disputes over scriptural details. They're not concerned with whether a whale swallowed Jonah or vice versa. Instead, they concentrate on the soul of their faith, living it daily through words, deeds, and thoughts. Like the lark, they stay grounded while also soaring towards the heavens. The minister who fills sermons with flowery language, quotes, and cliches is, whether intentionally or not, putting on a show from the pulpit. His elaborate phrases may be aesthetically pleasing but lack substance, failing to uplift or inspire anyone. A genuine preacher would regularly connect the timeless truths of their faith to the everyday challenges people face. The true test of a powerful sermon lies in its tangible impact, not in fleeting praise, but in listeners' lives being positively transformed throughout the week. Those who pray devoutly on Sundays, yet take advantage of others on Mondays, need a straightforward, authentic approach to their faith. A character can only be genuinely simple if it's rooted in personal truth and integrity, aligning with one's own values and moral compass. Simplicity emanates from a life genuinely lived, unencumbered by external influences or attempts to please others. Conversely, compromising for public opinion can ruin simplicity, as public opinion is a collective sense of morality that reduces the individual to just another stakeholder. Authenticity lies in adhering to one's own ideals and values, which is the key to achieving simplicity. On the other hand, affectation reveals a lack of confidence and inner assurance, serving as an unnecessary declaration that one isn't genuinely living up to their professed standards. Simplicity brings serenity by disregarding life's trivialities, whereas an insatiable desire for the unnecessary often fuels global dissatisfaction. The relentless pursuit of outdoing others suffocates both simplicity and joy, leaving a trail of discontent in its wake. Nature consistently conveys the importance of simplicity. Good health stems from living in accordance with basic principles. A straightforward diet, moderate physical activity, and cautionary measures can have remarkable effects. However, people become disenchanted with simplicity and succumb to subtle cravings for rich foods and drinks, abandoning their natural inclinations. As a result, they experience the consequences of poor health, such as indigestion, only to find themselves limited to the very simple diet they once rejected. In times of distress and hardship, there's profound solace in disconnecting from the world and society to reconnect with the fundamental responsibilities and pleasures we once neglected. As our sphere shrinks, it becomes more intimate and expansive in importance. We're struck by a newfound appreciation for the simple things and come to recognize that we've been sacrificing what truly matters in the pursuit of fleeting illusions. The quality hardest to replicate is simplicity. Authentic signatures, though often uncomplicated, are challenging to fake because they're uniquely individual and lack embellishments. Similarly, a banknote with minimal design elements can be difficult to counterfeit accurately, making any deviation from the norm immediately noticeable. This principle applies not only to visual art, but also to mental and moral character, where genuine simplicity is hard to mimic. The external manifestation of inner simplicity can be seen in one's actions. Leaders of nations often exhibit humility, modesty, and unpretentiousness due to the weight of their responsibility. These individuals are frequently tempered by their duties, making them calm, gentle, and uncomplicated. They lack space for personal pride or self-importance in their minds. On the other hand, those who crave attention, like a drum major, tend to become arrogant when they believe the world is watching them lead the parade. In contrast, renowned generals, laden with honors from numerous battles, retain an innocence and naturalness reminiscent of childhood despite their elevated status. Upon graduation, a newly minted college student often adopts an air of superiority, as if they now possess ancient wisdom. In contrast, renowned scientists, like explorers charting new scientific territories, typically remain unassuming and modest despite their groundbreaking achievement. Young authors often require lengthy Latin-derived phrases to convey their ideas effectively. Conversely, literary giants can evoke powerful emotions, dispel darkness, or critique societal flaws using straightforward language that's seemingly ordinary. Yet, when infused with the essence of genius, words can be transformed into something extraordinary and almost miraculous. Life takes on its true splendor when we perceive it as uncomplicated, letting go of minor troubles, sorrows, and distractions to focus on the essential aspect. It's possible to rise above petty concerns, recognizing their mere interruptions in an otherwise magnificent journey. One's inner essence or individuality can render even the most trying obstacles seemingly insignificant. A simplified mindset is fertile ground where insincerity, dishonesty, deceit, treachery, and self-serving aspirations cannot take root. A person with straightforward character perceives truth and integrity so clearly that they're unaware of deceit and corruption surrounding them. They don't pick up on subtle hints or whispers of wrongdoing that a more suspicious individual might sense in advance. Such a person refuses to counter deceit with deceit or maintain power through bribery, nor do they pay unnecessary respect to someone momentarily superior, for their genuinely simple-minded understanding of truth means starting to live it, and recognizing a duty entails immediately performing it. Nothing profound can linger as mere theory for one of simple character. Instead, it becomes an integral part of their being. Simplicity in a person's nature serves like a compass needle. It only knows its guiding north, or ideal. Let's strive to embody simplicity in all aspects of our lives. The initial step towards achieving this is often letting go or surrendering old habits, thoughts, or patterns that hinder personal growth. This process can be applied across various areas, such as simplifying one's diet, speech, morals, and values. Simplicity is the key to true greatness, regardless of how modest one's life may seem. Cultivating simple habits, manners, needs, language, and faith leads to a harmonious and refined inner state, ultimately revealing the beauty of simplicity in all its forms. Simplification is not a synonym for inadequacy or naivety. Instead, it's the process of extracting essence from complexity. It signifies attaining profound understanding and recognizing the futility and triviality of societal expectations that others may strive for. One who embodies simplicity has transcended the need to conform by already having achieved inner fulfillment. Simplicity is the hallmark of a self-contained, genuine existence, the key to individual greatness and distinct achievements. Seven, living life over again. A few years ago, a ship got severely off course due to a massive storm. Helpless and damaged, it drifted into an unfamiliar bay. As their water supply dwindled, the crew endured excruciating thirst, unable to drink the surrounding salt water out of desperation. At the point of despair, they lowered a bucket over the side, expecting more salt water, but were astonished to find it was actually fresh, cool, and revitalizing. Unbeknownst to them, The ship had inadvertently entered a freshwater arm of the sea. As if answering their prayers for sustenance, all they needed to do was reach out and claim the new life and vitality that awaited them. Today, weighed down by regret over past failures and sorrows, a man yearns for a fresh start. He longs to relive his life with the wisdom and experience he's gained, but realizes this isn't possible. Instead, he mourns lost opportunities from his youth. Though he looks forward to an afterlife, he remains stuck between the present and past, craving a new chance to live better. Unbeknownst to him, this new life is already within reach. Like sailors buffeted by storms, he's unaware that every day offers a fresh start, a daily rebirth to reshape his existence and make more of his past experiences. Each sunrise brings the possibility to redirect his path and seize the opportunities that surround him. One who doesn't acknowledge any regrets when reflecting on their life has essentially wasted it. A life devoid of regret is also one without growth or progress. Regret serves as a beacon of wisdom, drawing from our past experiences to illuminate the path forward, signifying that we're wiser today than yesterday. This newfound wisdom brings new opportunities and responsibilities. It's a fresh chance to create a better life. However, regret becomes meaningless unless it transforms into a catalyst for positive change, inspiring us to seize new possibilities and muster the strength to actualize them. Even with unlimited power, the past cannot be altered, but each individual has significant control over their future, often without realizing the extent of their influence. If humans truly desire to relive their lives, they would gain more from their mistakes than successes. Rather than lamenting wasted time and opportunities, let them learn from their errors and focus on the lessons learned. Past squandering of time should prompt individuals to make the most of present moments. If a past wrong can't be rectified with the injured party, one's regret can manifest in acts of kindness and love towards others. If someone regrets a personal feud, they should extend compassion to all they encounter. And if someone makes the same mistake twice, it is only by not repeating it that they demonstrate recognition of their error. As Josh Billings aptly put it, a man who's bitten twice by the same dog is better prepared for that experience than anyone else. Many people are fixated on their past glories, taking pride in what they once were rather than who they're becoming. This mindset is reminiscent of street beggars boasting about better times. True character isn't defined by one's past, it's shaped by ongoing progress. Attempting to relive the past, or resting on ancestral laurels, is like a mediocre individual clinging to their family name for relevance. We should focus on the present and future, not dwell on the roots of our family tree. Rather than bragging about ancestors, we should be proud of the people we're creating for the generations that will come after us, focusing more on our potential future virtues rather than past accomplishment. When people wish they could restart their lives, it's often because they feel unprepared or uninformed. This is a shame, even for someone who lacks courage. Despite understanding the principles of health, we frequently disregard them, hoping to outsmart nature instead. We know what foods are best suited for each of us, yet we indulge in our cravings and rely on cleverness to compensate for our neglect of our body's needs. Similarly, we comprehend that success is governed by straightforward laws, developing essential mental skills, putting in relentless effort, maintaining focus, and making consistent sacrifices. Despite this knowledge, we fail to live up to it. We consistently hinder our own progress through self-imposed limitations, and then blame fate for our misfortunes. Parents frequently advise their children against certain behaviors while engaging in those same actions themselves, hoping the kids will follow their words rather than their deeds. Despite years of instilling honesty and truthfulness in a child, a parent's dishonest act, such as lying about a child's age to save money, can instantly undermine these values. This kind of behavior not only harms the child, but also the parent, as it sets a poor example at an early age when the child cannot discern the deceit. While it may be common to view deceiving large institutions as acceptable, it is unwise to do so in front of children who are still learning about morality and can't yet distinguish between right and wrong. When someone genuinely seeks a fresh start, they can imagine their life day by day as if it were a new chapter. They should release the burdens of past mistakes, pain and regrets, closing the book on that era. Instead, they should focus on the wisdom they've gained from those experiences and apply it to their present and future responsibilities. Let them be less critical of others and more self-reflective, then embark courageously on this new life, utilizing the lessons learned from their past as a valuable asset for growth. What's needed is a shift towards living in the present moment, focusing on each day's unique opportunities and experiences, rather than striving for long-term guarantee. Imagine being like a captain, charting a course, making steady progress toward your destination one day at a time, without worrying about the past or the future. This mindset eliminates regret over what's been lost and anxiety about what's to come. Instead of craving substantial, long-lasting rewards, many people are tempted to seek constant provision, desiring a stockpile of daily bread rather than the daily manna provided by the Lord to the Israelite. Life has value when lived meaningfully and with purpose. Humans don't possess their lives outright. Instead, they have a temporary stewardship of it, requiring accountability in the end. Every individual can approach each new day as an opportunity for renewal, rather than just waiting for traditional New Year's resolutions. The passage suggests that every day is a chance to start anew, just as a single grain of sand doesn't significantly divide the vast desert, and a calendar date has no inherent power to separate time into distinct periods. Rather than setting grandiose goals we may not realistically achieve, let's commit to making gradual progress each day, fostering a continuous journey towards personal growth and positive impact on our circle and the world at large. Syndicating our sorrows. The most self-centered individual is the one who is excessively unselfish when sharing their sorrows. They spare no pain or hardship, burdening others with every woe they face. To them, the world becomes a collective entity that takes an inventory of their personal troubles and miseries. The error lies not in sharing these struggles, but rather in opening up to the point where others can partake in their suffering. Ideally, this person would maintain control by forming a trust, thereby preventing anyone from claiming ownership over their misery. Life is a profound and individual challenge. Our greatest triumphs and most severe hardships come to us personally. We must face our struggles, including internal weaknesses, alone in our own Gethsemane. We must live and die as individuals, accepting full responsibility for our existence. Given each person's unique burden of cares, responsibilities, setbacks, doubts, fears, and losses, it is a disservice to ourselves if we seek to share our sorrows with others rather than facing them directly. Let's strive to uplift others' lives with our resilience in the face of adversity, serving as a beacon of hope. We should learn from our setbacks, focusing on the valuable insights they provide, rather than dwelling on past mistakes. By counting our blessings and embracing each day with courage, we can overcome grief and worry. However, it's essential to maintain a balance by not sharing our personal sorrows excessively in public, respecting others' emotional well-being as well. Some individuals seem to spend a significant amount of their interactions talking about themselves and their personal experiences. While this may not be actual conversation, it's more like an uninterrupted speech. These people scrutinize every detail of their lives, then share an amplified version of their struggles with others, likenable to a stereopticon presentation, highlighting tiny details under magnification. They'll tell you that they didn't sleep at all last night, and could distinctly hear the clock striking each quarter hour. Yet, there's no real justification for boasting about insomnia. It's not a unique skill, and even the most alert individuals can experience it. When inquiring about someone's emotions, this individual provides a detailed and extensive account of their current state, tracing its roots back to an illness from 4 years prior. You seek a brief response, but he furnishes a lengthy explanation. His tendency is to chronicle every aspect of his life, as if he were documenting his experiences like James Boswell did for Samuel Johnson. He shares his troubles widely, essentially selling the stories of his sorrows. The woman who publicly shares her parenting struggles, domestic troubles, and family difficulties with visitors is essentially broadcasting her personal sorrows. Instead of broadcasting a minor annoyance like a child's botched recitation of curfew shall not ring tonight, wouldn't it be wiser for the mother to accept it patiently and privately? A person with health issues should not allow their discomfort to negatively impact those around them. It's unfair to make others suffer because of one's own illness. If an individual's condition causes irritability or moodiness, they should take steps to contain these emotions and prevent them from affecting others. This can be achieved by managing their tone of voice, facial expressions, and speed of speech. Rather than allowing health issues to dominate their thoughts and actions, individuals should keep them in check and maintain a level head. Many people are overly self-absorbed, viewing themselves as an isolated entity rather than an integral part of the larger human experience. They focus excessively on their own individual struggles, neglecting the vital connections they could have with others. Some succumb to despair, while others indulge in excessive pleasure-seeking. Both sorrow and beauty can foster a sense of pride or vanity. Moreover, individuals often reminisce about their past, convinced that their unique tribulations and hardships set them apart from others, when in fact, everyone's life is marked by challenges and setbacks. When mortality arrives at the core of our personal sphere, everything around us loses its vibrancy. Our purpose, motivation, and optimism are snatched away, leaving only desolation. The love that previously made life's challenges worthwhile has vanished. We gaze blankly into the void ahead, perceiving no prospect. We don't even wish for one. Life is reduced to a bygone era, a mere recollection devoid of promise or expectation. As time passes and nature's rhythms work on us, our initial shock and turmoil gradually subside, allowing us to better cope with the world around us. We've emotionally recovered from the initial blow. As we grow closer to remembering the past, a new pang of pain arises. It feels like a betrayal or infidelity to our love, as if healing would be a disloyalty. Yet, nature gently cautions us that allowing wounds to heal gradually is not disloyal, especially since time determines what can and can't be healed. While some exceptional individuals might remain marred in their grief due to an overwhelming love, this phenomenon is rare in human experience. Despite the depth of our pain, we shouldn't exploit it or broadcast our suffering to others. We can't justify casting a shadow over people's joy by prolonging our mourning attire or using somber stationery, as if genuine grief was concerned with conformity. We have no right to turn our individual sorrow into a public display, ruining the happiness of those around us in their most joyful moments. Even in times of adversity, when life has been unkind, and we're left feeling desolate and alone, let's not burden those around us with our misery. Instead of dragging others through the struggles of our past, let's face our hardships with dignity, like Socrates with his hemlock, without complaint or expectation that others should share in our sorrow. Drink your own cup of pain, but do so with courage and grace. Don't share your negative outlook on life, morality, or spirituality if it stems from the doubts about people's integrity or women's values. Believing religion is fake or spirituality a deceit. Considering life a disappointment and death as the end of all existence. Having internalized pessimistic philosophical ideas, instead, refrain from spreading such a bleak perspective. Respectfully leave others to hold on to whatever vestige of faith they may have, no matter how fragile or outdated it may seem. Don't take away the only lifeline that sustains their hope in a higher power and humanity's potential. How can we be certain our assessment is correct? Who granted us the authority to declare someone else's beliefs delusional? When life's challenges shake your trust in an all-powerful force or personal relationships disappoint, don't hastily adopt the skepticism of modern unbelievers who sell their doubts by the seat. Instead, seek to revive your faith by tuning into the collective wisdom that resonates through nature and humanity, expressing infinite love and wisdom. Rebuild a stronger, more profound faith, one that surpasses what you previously knew, in something greater, more excellent and truthful. You may find one person with whom you can openly share every thought, dream, or hardship without fear of judgment. But don't assume the world is the trustworthy place. Keep your vulnerabilities and challenges private until you've overcome them, rather than broadcasting them to everyone. Only once they're under control should you consider sharing your struggles with others, as doing so before then can weaken those around you by spreading unnecessary negativity. 9. The revelations of reserve power. Each person is a complex, untapped reservoir of potential, with a majority of their capabilities and qualities lying beneath the surface, unseen by themselves or others. Similarly, 9/10 of an individual's capacity for both positive and negative actions remain concealed, out of view even to their own self-awareness. Burns' request to see ourselves as others see us fell short because it caters only to human vanity, revealing how others perceive us, not our true nature. A more meaningful prayer would be to behold oneself as one truly is. However, the unbridled truth about a person's untapped potential and inner strength might overwhelm them, leaving them reeling like Moses before the burning bush. Humans are not rigid instruments playing predestined melodies, but rather they're complex harps waiting to be strummed into their vast, hidden symphony of possibilities. Nature's deepest secrets are unlocked through its innate capacity to adapt, which it activates in response to unexpected challenges. By being frugal with energy and resources, nature conserves effort and only supplies what is strictly required for existence and growth under specific circumstances. Whenever new necessities emerge, nature tapped into its reserve strength to respond effectively. Nature showcases its wonders through various animal adaptations. In environments like the Mammoth Cave, animals' reliance on sight diminishes, while their sense of smell, touch, and hearing becomes more acute. Nature ensures all creatures blend in by harmonizing their colors with their surroundings, providing camouflage from predators. Arctic animals adjust to winter's whiteness after basking in summer's warmth. Desert dwellers like lions, camels, and antelopes adopt hues, mirroring the sand and rocks they inhabit. In lush forests, parrots are typically green, while turacos, barbets, and bee-eaters exhibit a prevalence of this coloration. As animal habits evolve over generations, so do their colors in response to new conditions. Nature's reserve power consistently meets these changing needs with novel adaptations, harmonizing creatures with their environments. Around 45 years ago, 6 entrepreneurial rabbits were introduced to Australia. Today, the descendants of those initial 6 have multiplied into the millions, posing a significant pest problem for the country. Substantial efforts and resources were invested in eradicating them, including constructing massive wire fences to keep them out. Despite formidable odds, the rabbits adapted and overcame, evolving a key survival feature, a long nail that allows them to cling to fences while climbing and burrow under netting to access food sources. In essence, the rabbits have successfully outsmarted humanity. Their remarkable resilience stems from not passively accepting their situation, but instead learning and thriving through their struggle for survival. This untapped potential was unlocked by perseverance and determination. In the plant kingdom, nature consistently demonstrates its reserve power. Even seemingly plain green plants, including roots and stems, harbor nearly limitless color possibilities. All that's required is the right environment for these colors to emerge. By respecting natural laws, humans could cultivate leaves as vibrant as flowers. For instance, a wild rose has only one petal, but when grown in fertile soil, its numerous yellow stamen transform into the striking red foliage of a fully developed cabbage rose, a testament to nature's hidden potential. This is just one example of nature's reserve power at work. In fact, many plants have undergone significant transformations over time. The banana once resembled a tropical lily, and the peach was initially a bitter almond. If we were to exhaustively detail nature's reserve power, it would be equivalent to chronicling the entire universe in 1,000 volumes. Nature often designs redundant systems in living beings. Humans, for instance, possess near duplicates of various organs: eyes, ears, lungs, and limbs. If one organ is impaired, its corresponding counterpart can compensate by tapping into its reserve power. Even when an organ isn't duplicated, like the nose, it's structured to maintain a constant backup system. But furthermore, nature prepares a reserve or understudy for each body part, as seen in the heightened sense of touch that develops in the blind, ensuring protection and resilience in times of need. When birds sense danger, they fluff out their feathers. After being in water, dogs vigorously shake their coats to separate each strand of fur, and startled hedgehogs erect all their quills. These actions are triggered by skin muscles that, although present in humans, are normally dormant and unresponsive. However, when a person experiences extreme fear, a latent capacity awakens, causing the hair on their head to stand upright in a sudden, intense response to the frightening situation. Nature provides for human needs on both physical and mental moral levels. Even if someone fails repeatedly in various endeavors, they can unexpectedly excel in an area where they initially had no awareness of their abilities. One must never be content with their current state, thinking they are incapable of growth or greatness. Instead, the concept of reserve power serves as a guardian angel, promising that one's present limitations can be transformed into strength and power through continuous effort, perseverance, and daring. Ultimately, an individual's full potential cannot be predicted in advance. Notable individuals have experienced numerous failures before achieving success, so it's essential to stay resilient and focused on self-improvement. In Norse mythology, the idea persists that when you vanquish an enemy, their strength becomes yours. This concept is mirrored in human experience. As we triumph over personal flaws, emotions, or desires, each conquest, no matter how small, is stored by nature as a reservoir of inner power to be drawn upon during challenging times. Most people would decline if presented with a comprehensive map of their future, outlining every hardship, sorrow, failure, affliction, loss, illness, and loneliness they'll face. They'd claim they couldn't endure such trials and remain alive. Yet, despite these challenges, they persevere. As they near the hopes that motivated them, those hopes are often dashed. Trusted friends betray them, the world turns cold, their children bring shame, the love of their life passes away. Through it all, a mysterious reserve power sustains them, imbuing them with fresh strength even in slumber. If you're aware of a personal flaw and determined to overcome it, you can deliberately put yourself in situations that require you to confront and improve on that weakness. Eliminate any escape routes by making a commitment to change, and then muster the resolve to persevere until you've achieved success, just as the legendary Spartans did in battle. Reserve power is a continuous supply of inner strength akin to the daily manna provided for the Israelites in the wilderness, with each new day bringing its own portion of sustenance. Similarly, the spiral staircase on the Leaning Tower of Pisa offers a gradual ascent, where one step at a time becomes visible as we progress. In this divine concept, reserve power is revealed to us in increments, allowing us to meet our evolving need. Regardless of our life's path or challenges, it's essential to recognize that infinite potential. 10. The majesty of calmness. Calmness is a precious and uncommon trait in human nature. It represents a state of inner peace and balance, where one's thoughts, emotions, and actions are in harmony with their core value. A calm person is self-contained, confident, and in control, allowing them to stay focused on their objectives without distraction. This serene quality can be swiftly directed to tackle any challenge or crisis that arises. The statue-like composure, often associated with the Sphinx, is actually a state of inactivity rather than genuine serenity. Calmness, on the other hand, is characterized by a peaceful awareness that allows for a full, intense, and conscious experience of life, the very opposite of the stagnation represented by petrification. The fatalist lacks composure, being helplessly subservient to their surroundings and circumstances, with no regard for what the future may bring. They resign themselves to a life without direction or purpose, drifting aimlessly through time like an unsteered vessel on the open sea, devoid of navigational tools or a clear destination. Their self-admitted submission to all aspects of existence is not a sign of calmness, but rather one of surrender and powerlessness. The individual who remains composed has a clear direction in life, with their path well mapped out. They're always at the controls, prepared for any unexpected challenges that may arise, whether it's a storm, uncertainty, or setbacks. Their calm demeanor stems from understanding that they must focus on making the most of each day, using the knowledge they have, and trusting that as circumstances unfold, they won't falter, even when forced to adjust course. Instead, they'll regroup and continue moving steadily towards their desired destination. Reaching it may not be guaranteed, but they're at peace knowing they've given it their best effort. If things don't go as planned, they'll accept the outcome with serenity, acknowledging that life's path is full of new beginnings, opportunities for growth, and fresh chances to thrive each day. Inner tranquility originates from within us. It's a reflection of one's inherent peacefulness and stillness. External turmoil, like storms or strong winds, only affect the surface, reaching at most a few hundred feet deep. Beneath that lies an untouched, serene abyss. To be prepared for life's significant challenges, it's crucial to cultivate serenity in our daily routines. Serenity is the ultimate manifestation of self-control, serving as its crowning achievement. When life's stressors weigh heavily on you, taking a moment to calm down is crucial. Let go of worries and allow peace to settle in. Don't let external factors dominate your emotions. Instead, confront each challenge individually with all your inner strength. You'll find that these obstacles will dissipate like mist in the sun. A peaceful aura will envelop your mind, accompanied by a surge of renewed energy. This is just the beginning of discovering your greatest potential for serenity. In times of great trial, when everything seems to be falling apart, when your dreams and hard work crumble before you, stay brave. Stand tall amidst the ruins, unshaken in spirit and unwavering in voice. You can confidently declare, "So be it. I will rebuild again," with a courageous heart and steadfast resolve. When a momentary urge for revenge or retaliation arises due to malicious gossip, persecution, or feelings of inadequacy, remain composed, even in the face of adversity. Like when a gray heron is pursued by an eagle, it's essential to maintain serenity and stand one's ground rather than flee. Sometimes, this calmness can be a powerful defense mechanism. The heron might even turn the tables on its attacker, using its own deadly bill. Similarly, the means we use to damage another person's character ultimately result in our own downfall, akin to suicide. No one has ever successfully wronged another without suffering a consequence in return, sometimes immediate, often delayed, but always ultimately settling scores. Nature's accounting system is precise, recording every offense and settling all debts eventually, though not necessarily at the end of each month. Those who remain calm in the face of injury are too elevated to stoop to seeking revenge. They instead don the regal cloak of serenity and proceed undeterred on their path when wrong. When someone dear to us passes away, sapping our vitality and casting a shadow over our existence, all the inner peace we've cultivated over time suddenly serves as a sanctuary and a hidden well of emotional resilience. The most insidious lure is when the unrighteous appear successful. It demands moral strength to witness prosperous individuals who are dishonest, influential politicians ascending through deceit and corruption, virtue in tatters, while vice dons luxurious attire, ignorance highly valued, and knowledge devalued. One not consumed by anxious contemplation of life's enigmas will remain steadfast, focusing on living their best life, rather than worrying about the mysteries of justice, which only omniscience can fully resolve. When one cultivates serenity to the point where it permeates their being, they've achieved significant personal growth. However, achieving this state of calmness requires developing a series of virtues first. The world and its individuals require a higher quality of living, a profound appreciation for life's privilege and dignity, and an elevated understanding of individuality that fosters nobility. When someone cultivates inner peace, they can withdraw from the external chaos and distractions of the world. The noise, commotion, and turmoil become distant murmurs, akin to the muffled sounds of a busy city, perceived as a gentle buzz by someone looking down from a great height, such as a person in an airplane or hot air balloon. This inner serenity allows them to detach and find solace within themselves. A person who possesses inner calm doesn't withdraw from society out of self-interest. Instead, they're deeply invested in the well-being of humanity as a whole. Their serenity serves as a sacred refuge, where they can recharge before re-engaging with the world. They understand that true individuality and mastery over oneself is ultimately expressed through the majesty of calmness. Hurry, the scourge of America. The initial sermon, so to speak, was delivered at the time of creation. It served as a divine rebuke against the pace of hurry and as an exemplary demonstration of meticulous planning, scheduling, and completion, ultimately followed by rest. Regardless of whether one interprets this event literally or figuratively, in terms of consecutive days or epochs spanning millions of years, the core lesson remains a reminder to prioritize balance and rest after striving for perfection. Nature, in its workings, embodies an un-American quality. It never rushes. Instead, each stage demonstrates planning, serenity, dependability, and the absence of haste. Hurry, on the other hand, is often a sign of unclear methods, chaos, and impatience for slow growth. A prime example of this is the Tower of Babel, which failed due to its hasty construction. The workers mistakenly equated their ambitious drive with inspiration, leading to numerous builders without an architect to guide them, a hallmark of hurry's tendency to substitute energy for a well-defined plan, resulting in a futile endeavor akin to trying to transform a toy horse into a real one by simply riding it fast. Haste and hurry are two distinct mindsets. Haste is focused on a single goal to achieve as quickly as possible through straightforward means, having one guiding principle. In contrast, hurry attempts to compensate for its own uncertainty by considering multiple perspectives or compasses, simultaneously hoping that at least one of them will lead correctly. However, This scattered approach often overlooks the value of careful planning and slow, thorough preparation, which can ultimately prove to be the most efficient path forward. Expediency has had a more detrimental impact on American society than any other single concept, becoming a plague that perpetuates the fast-paced nature of modern life in the United States. Under various guises, this relentless drive often goes unnoticed, yet it directly contributes to and stems from the pressures of contemporary civilization. Rushing through life often yields the highest costs, yet frequently the desired outcomes never materialize. In pursuit of wealth, individuals may sacrifice essential aspects like time, energy, health, home, happiness, and reputation, valuable assets that cannot be regained by money's means. Hurry embodies paradoxical contradictions. Even business professionals who strive to ensure their family's future prosperity often compromise present-day joy with their loved ones in the name of urgency. They overlook the importance of being a thoughtful, considerate partner at home, instead reducing their role to simply the one who pays the bills. This neglect breeds resentment and unfulfilled expectations. The focus is too heavily placed on a wife's duties towards her husband, neglecting her needs and experiences. We're constantly told that a wife should greet her husband with warmth, monitor his emotions, and radiate positivity. However, this one-sided emphasis omits the reality that a woman's day is just as demanding, with responsibilities for childcare, household management, and emotional labor. Mothers devote immense care to their children, often tackling challenges behind the scenes. So why should women be expected to cater to their husbands' moods like fragile objects? Are men truly the weaker sex, requiring such special treatment that they must be shielded from the world's rough edges? In their relentless pursuit of personal goals, people frequently sacrifice values like integrity, honesty, and kindness. Politicians, in particular, are guilty of passively allowing a city's water supply to become contaminated as they wait to see how a new water project benefits them financially. Similarly, if harming an entire army serves their wealth-grabbing objectives, they won't hesitate to do so, demonstrating the extreme measures they'll take in their all-consuming drive for riches and success. This is an era dominated by controlled environments, where artificial means like greenhouses and pumps have taken precedence over organic growth processes. Mother Nature patiently observes this trend, implying a limit to human innovation while suggesting that there are boundaries not to be transgressed, as if cautioning against overstepping natural bounds. The modern education system prioritizes speed over substance, overwhelming students with an excessive amount of information without adequately developing their critical thinking skills or sensory awareness. This cramming approach results in minds cluttered with unprocessed facts rather than fostering true understanding. The pressure to learn continues relentlessly, evoking a desire to intervene and protect the children from this slaughter of innocence. Despite its claims of superiority, education's hasty pace is misguided as it fails to accomplish what could be achieved more effectively in half the time. Students are hurried through textbooks, then poor health, college diplomas, and eventually into adulthood, with minds that are unprepared for the demands of real life. Excessive haste can be detrimental to one's composure, dignity, and equilibrium. The loss of courtesy and the rise of hurry have led to a culture of fast eating and neglect of proper dining habits. In our fast-paced society, gobbling food has become an unfortunate norm, leading to poor digestion and related issues like indigestion. This rush often leads people to forget that they are unique in their ability to savor meals, opting instead to feed like other animals. As a result, many suffer from self-inflicted digestive discomforts and resort to remedies like pepsin tablets. Moreover, this obsession with speed can strain the nervous system, ultimately contributing to conditions like nervous prostration. The most enduring achievements in life are the result of steady development over time. The more remarkable a creation, the longer it takes to flourish and the greater its lasting impact. For instance, mighty oaks take decades to mature, whereas fungi quickly reach their peak, but then wither away. Transient trends emerge and fade within weeks, while profound philosophies endure for generations. If you're confident in your convictions, remain steadfast against external pressures, be it public opinion, friends, or family, and instead focus on the steady growth of your pursuit, much like one accepts a dark night, knowing that each moment brings the dawn closer. Let's eliminate the concept of hurry from our daily lives. Instead, let's prioritize self-respect and honor by taking the time we need for tasks without sacrificing calmness, serenity, or contentment. We should strive to do our best, face challenges with courage, and live undistracted by external factors like envy or others' successes. Let's avoid impatience, frustration, and exhaustion caused by delays, setbacks, or opposition. Instead, let's move forward confidently, trusting in the future with a peaceful inner harmony that aligns with our values and steadily advances toward their fulfillment. Let's examine how the rush to be hasty consistently undermines honesty, dedication, and meticulousness in our lives. As we move forward, we should make a conscious effort each day to replace this haste with serenity and tranquility, thereby cultivating a more noble and fulfilling existence. The power of personal influence. A person's most significant responsibility, often overlooked, is their personal influence on others. While deliberate efforts to impress or teach might have limited impact, the natural emanation of one's character, habits, and interactions has a profound effect on those around them. Unintentionally, every individual radiates an atmosphere that influences everyone they encounter, shaping the world with each moment of life. So subtle is this influence that it can be easily forgotten, yet its power to shape lives cannot be overstated. Nature's fundamental forces, including heat, light, electricity, and gravity, operate silently and invisibly. We don't directly perceive them. Instead, we infer their presence through the consequences they bring about. The marvels that are visible in nature pale in comparison to the grandeur and splendor of these invisible yet omnipotent entities. The sun's rays alone are insufficient to support life on Earth. Instead, we rely heavily on the light and heat provided by stars, many of which are invisible to us and situated millions of miles away. The natural world continually encourages humans to appreciate the extraordinary might and awe-inspiring aspects of the unseen universe in numerous ways. In every person, there's an extraordinary power that can be used for good or ill, the subtle, unintentional impact of their life on others. This arises from consistently projecting what they truly are, rather than how they pretend to be. Each individual naturally emits traits like empathy, sorrow, or happiness through mere existence, influencing those around them in various ways. Life is a continuous process of emitting and receiving influences. Living means emitting energy, and being alive means being open to the energies of others. Some individuals exude warmth, positivity, and hope, leaving you feeling refreshed, renewed, and reassured in humanity's goodness. Conversely, others can instantly evoke unease, discontent, and skepticism towards life. Without understanding why, you may feel restless and agitated in their presence, losing your sense of direction and moral bearings. As if a ship's compass is disrupted by nearby iron ore, these individuals can instantaneously upset your moral compass, making it unreliable. Some individuals drift through life with an icy demeanor, appearing distant and uninviting. When they're around, you instinctively seek comfort from the coldness that surrounds them, unsure how they let it in. Such frosty people can drain the energy out of those who encounter them. On the other hand, there are warm-hearted, generous, and amiable individuals who flow effortlessly through life's challenges like a soothing ocean current. Their presence radiates warmth, vitality, and positivity, much like the revitalizing power of springtime or the comforting feeling of sunshine on your skin. There are individuals whose influence is detrimental, much like a malarial swamp, toxic, depressing, and draining just by being near. They can suffocate the joy in their own homes, extinguishing children's laughter and play. These men trudge through life as if each day were a somber funeral, always at the forefront of mourning. On the other hand, there are those who embody the rejuvenating essence of the ocean, invigorating, inspiring, and replenishing the spirit by their mere presence. They bring a constant flow of revitalizing energy and strength to those around them. There are individuals who wear a facade of sincerity, yet their insincerity permeates their very being. They express fake interest in your well-being only when they need something from you. Their forced smiles appear suddenly, as if triggered by an invisible button, and their overly cordial tone can seem genuine to some due to long practice. However, these people rarely maintain their act perfectly. The mask slips occasionally, revealing their true nature. No amount of cleverness can convincingly convey honesty through their eyes. Although they may deceive some, a certain intuitive power allows others to sense their dishonesty, leading us to instinctively know that person is not trustworthy. One cannot shirk from the constant impact of their character on others, for even a brief instant. It's not possible to deny this influence by claiming it's subconscious. Instead, they can intentionally cultivate and express positive traits such as kindness, serenity, trustworthiness, generosity, honesty, fairness, devotion, and ability, allowing these qualities to be a living part of their character. In doing so, they will continuously shape the world around them through the radiating power of their inner character. Discouragement can strike well-intentioned individuals who may underestimate their positive impact on the world. Even seemingly insignificant actions can ultimately contribute to a larger purpose. In 1797, William Godwin's The Inquirer inspired Thomas Malthus's essay on population, 1798, which in turn influenced Charles Darwin for decades, culminating in his groundbreaking Origin of Species, 1859. This chain of influence spanned over 6 decades and had a profound impact on the scientific community. Just 3 examples of how small, unremarkable actions can have far-reaching consequences. The chain of inspiration might extend from William Godwin to ancestors far back, potentially even to an ancient British shepherd who spent his days tending to his sheep on the rolling hills. As this humble herdsman went about his daily routine, free from grand ambitions or a desire for global impact, he likely passed away without realizing that his simple existence had laid the groundwork for someone like Godwin, whose works would in turn influence others. Individuals have responsibilities both towards others and themselves. To honor ourselves, we should avoid environments that hinder personal growth. If a flaw lies within us, it's our duty to overcome it. If the toxic influence of others stifles our best qualities, we must remove ourselves from that environment, if possible, without abandoning our obligation. If moving is not an option, we should cultivate inner strength to counteract the negative impact. What matters most isn't what others do for us, but their presence in our lives. Just as we tend to our houseplants by adjusting their surroundings, shouldn't we be equally considerate of our own well-being? To have a genuine impact, we must embody our beliefs through actions. A magnet's power isn't in being iron, it's in transforming iron into another magnet, allowing it to attract. Similarly, a parent can't effectively teach children about kindness when they themselves display irritability. If a child is instructed to be truthful and witnesses their parent telling a white lie to avoid social discomfort, the child won't strongly value honesty. The message "don't lie" from words clashes with the message. 13. The dignity of self-reliance. Confidence alone is ineffective without the ability to take action, just as a recipe serves no purpose without ingredients. Confidence recognizes one's potential, while reliance brings that potential to fruition. Confidence envisions the beauty hidden within an unshaped marble block. Reliance transforms that vision into reality through personal effort. A self-reliant person believes they are solely responsible for their growth and development in all aspects of life: financial, social, mental, physical, and moral. They understand that no one can realize their full potential or determine their goodness or evilness except themselves. Life is a personal challenge that each individual must resolve on their own. Nature does not accept substitutes or proxies. It only interacts with individuals, offering them the choice of being their own best ally or greatest obstacle. Ultimately, the decision rests with each person to decide who they will be in relation to themselves. No matter how many athletic exercises one performs, they are ultimately useless unless an individual puts in the personal effort required to see tangible results. It's not enough to simply pay for someone else to work out on your behalf. True growth and development come from dedicating time and energy to one's own training. In this context, sending a servant or assistant to exercise on your behalf is insufficient, as it doesn't translate into personal physical improvement. The global repository of medical remedies is ineffective unless an individual actively seeks and incorporates the treatment necessary to address their unique vulnerabilities. All faiths are theoretical frameworks for moral guidance until an individual internalizes the importance of self-reliance and aligns their life with a personal understanding of truth. Religions aren't like luxurious vehicles where someone else handles the journey. Each person must take responsibility for their own spiritual growth. While accepting support is essential, one should not be content as a passive passenger. They are the driver controlling the course of their life's train. Without self-reliance, we risk drifting through existence, missing out on life's greatest treasures and divine experiences. Others can only present possibilities in our lives. We must be ready to seize the chance as it arises and proactively pursue it if it doesn't materialize. Life consists of a continuous series of choices and outcomes, whether positive or negative, that are shaped by our actions. The opportunities we have are merely a blank slate, and their ultimate value depends on how we utilize them. Historically, alchemists sought a single missing ingredient that they believed would enable them to transform base metals into pure gold. Similarly, there are individuals blessed with exceptional mental abilities and profound spiritual insight who struggle in life due to the absence of one crucial factor: self-reliance. This essential quality would harmonize their efforts, channeling their energies into a formidable force. The individual who lacks self-reliance is characterized by weakness, indecisiveness, and doubt in their actions. They are hesitant to take decisive steps due to fear of failure, a desire for external guidance, or an inability to trust their own judgment. In their timidity and arrogance, they attribute their shortcomings to others, feeling underappreciated, unrecognized, and oppressed by society. As they ruminate on their hardships, they become vain, convinced that no one has faced the same magnitude of poverty, sorrow, affliction, or failure as they have. The self-reliant individual continually strives to identify and overcome their inner weaknesses that hinder them from achieving their most cherished goal. They recognize the importance of cultivating inner strength to resist external influences. This person acknowledges that historical greats in various fields triumphed despite battling against adversity such as illness, hardship, or sorrow. To them, defeat is merely a temporary passage, akin to traversing a tunnel, with the understanding that they will ultimately emerge into the light of success and perseverance. A country's true strength lies not in its external power, but in its ability to be self-sufficient and meet its own needs. If a nation relies heavily on outside resources and can't sustain itself, It is vulnerable and may eventually succumb to external pressures. Independence is directly tied to self-reliance. This principle applies equally to individuals. The history of nations is a reflection of the biographies of their people, and conversely, an individual's life story mirrors the broader historical context in which they live. In any challenging situation, be it trial, sorrow, or need, an individual's greatest strength comes from within, and they should rely on their own inherent abilities rather than relying on external support. Self-reliance is essential for one to remain steadfast and resilient in the face of adversity. Ancient Rome's prosperity was ultimately undermined by its over-reliance on slaves to perform the daily tasks that fostered individual and national self-sufficiency. As a result, the population became increasingly reliant on others for even the smallest duties, leading to a decline in personal responsibility and autonomy. This erosion of self-reliance, in turn, contributed to Rome's transformation from a robust nation of warriors into one characterized by effeminacy, as individuals prioritized indulgence over industriousness. Similarly, our own reliance on others to perform tasks we should do ourselves erodes our self-sufficiency, diminishing our capacities and control over them with each passing day. To achieve greatness, one must cultivate self-reliance in the area where they seek excellence. This doesn't mean being self-sufficient in all aspects, but rather having the courage to stand alone when necessary. Be a strong, independent oak tree, capable of providing support without relying on others or craving their help. To develop true self-reliance, recognize that life is an ongoing personal battle that requires you to be your own warrior. There's no substitute, reprieve, or retirement from the fight. The only definitive end to one's battles is death. As the world focuses on its own concerns, it's up to each individual to forge their path. There is no single key to success other than embracing self-reliance. To improve communication skills, actively seek opportunities to engage in conversations. To overcome negativity, surround yourself with optimistic people, even if it's challenging. If you want to possess a quality another has, don't waste energy envying their attributes. Instead, learn the path they took to develop them and rely on your own efforts to achieve similar results. View yourself as an untapped resource of potential, waiting to be explored and developed, just like a mine whose true riches can only be discovered by digging in and extracting what's hidden within. To cultivate self-reliance, one should focus on surpassing their own accomplishments rather than competing with others. When you continually strive to outdo your previous achievements, you'll experience harmonious growth in all aspects of life. This was the approach that contributed to the success of Cambria Railworks, where employees aim to produce better rails than their last batch. While competition can be beneficial, it can also lead people to prioritize appearances over substance. True progress comes from an individual's internal drive to excel their past self. This inner competition fosters self-reliance and, in turn, reinforces personal growth. When you have a strong sense of your capabilities and potential for growth, you'll feel empowered to shape your life as you see fit. Instead of being deterred by distant challenges or setbacks, view them with perspective, recognizing that they may not be as daunting once you face them head-on, much like the harmless stone lions in Bunyan's stories. A truly self-reliant individual isn't overshadowed by someone else's achievements. They think independently, rely on themselves, and take actions autonomously. This inner focus doesn't mean they're oblivious to the value of genuine friendships, which offer solace, inspiration, and support in times of need, like a reliable lifeboat. However, many so-called friends may prove unreliable when challenges arise, leaving one to stand strong through their own internal strength. Self-reliance is essential during crises. As one grows stronger from within, they're better equipped to help others in their hour of need. Moreover, their very existence becomes a continuous source of inspiration and a testament to the value of self-reliance for those around them. 14. By failure as a success, withstanding futile endeavors, reviving abandoned projects, and persisting through adversity all demand remarkable bravery. What appears to be a hopeless defeat can actually mark the beginning of something greater, holding within it the building blocks for a grander objective or the discovery of novel opportunity. A few years ago, Canadian entrepreneur Mr. Joggins proposed an innovative method to transport logs from Canada to New York, binding them together with cables and iron girders to create rafts that could be towed. The venture almost succeeded until a fierce storm hit, causing the iron bands to break and scattering the logs across the oceans. News of this failure reached the Hydrographic Department in Washington, prompting them to alert mariners worldwide to report sightings of these logs, noting their location, time, and date. As captains from around the globe shared their findings over several weeks and months, the collected data revealed valuable insights into ocean currents. Although the initial attempt failed, it ultimately led to a significant discovery in modern marine geography and navigation, turning what seemed like a loss into a pivotal breakthrough. We often look down on ancient alchemists' endeavors, viewing their failures to transform base metals into gold as quaint but futile attempts. However, these alchemists inadvertently gave birth to the science of chemistry through their pursuit of this gold. Despite not achieving their objective, they developed crucial processes like sublimation, filtration, and crystallization, inventing valuable tools like the alembic, retort, and sandbag in the process. Their discoveries include antimony, sulfuric ether, and phosphorus, as well as advancements in cupellation of gold and silver, saltpeter's properties, gunpowder, and essential oil distillation. This success, through failure, exemplifies a natural growth process with valuable lessons for humanity if we only acknowledge and accept it. Although our setbacks might seem devastating at first, they can ultimately propel us to even greater achievements than we initially envisioned. In fact, life is characterized by a constant progression from one level of achievement to the next, often built upon the foundation of past failures. For instance, Christopher Columbus's failure to find India was instrumental in his discovery of America, a success that far surpassed his initial goal. Though he set out to prove a western route to India, his souvenirs actually served as evidence of his misadventure. Yet, it was this very failure that led him to stumble upon the New World, an accomplishment that dwarfs his original aim. Thus, our failures can sometimes yield more remarkable successes than we could have ever imagined. After completing both theological and medical courses, David Livingstone was prepared to embark on missionary work. For over 3 years, he dedicated himself to studying with singular focus to spread Christianity in China. With great enthusiasm and devotion, he was poised to start his mission when news arrived that the Opium War made it unwise to enter the country. Undeterred by this setback and failure, Livingstone redirected his efforts, offering to become a missionary in Africa, which was accepted. His initial disappointment at not reaching China ultimately led him to illuminate an entire continent with truth and light. The knowledge he acquired proved instrumental for his subsequent roles as a physician, explorer, teacher, and evangelist in the African wilderness. When Sir Walter Scott's business faced setbacks and his partner went bankrupt, he found himself shouldering the weight of responsibility due to his own integrity and reputation. This unexpected challenge prompted him to make extraordinary efforts. The iconic works of Scottish historical fiction that have captivated millions are a testament to his perseverance in the face of adversity, ultimately rising from what seemed like failure to create something truly monumental. As Millet worked on his iconic painting Angelus, imbuing it with a reverent energy, he was fighting against mortality, combating grief, and racing against the clock while his wife's health declined. His early morning brushstrokes, crafted between his railway porter duties, provided sustenance for her life. Despite being an art failure, Millet's poverty and hardships refined his character, unifying his inner strengths in a rare display of spiritual resilience. This transformative experience purified his artistic vision, allowing him to create with unprecedented eloquence and beauty, an achievement that prosperity might not have inspired. Mishaps can serve as transformative milestones, propelling us towards greater heights. It's not always about achieving wealth or recognition. Instead, failure can spark fresh sources of spiritual, moral, and intellectual inspiration that profoundly shape our lives for years to come. Ultimately, the essence of life isn't what happens to us, but rather what we derive from our experiences and how we grow as a result. Regardless of a person's previous circumstances, be they rich or poor, triumphant or defeated, what truly matters is the present moment. Each individual must confront their own inner compass, answering the ultimate question with courage and integrity. What path will I take now, guided by my conscience and the direction of my life's destiny? One's perspective on external circumstances can shape their inner world. If hardships or deprivations lead to personal growth and character development, then those experiences can be seen as a form of enrichment and success. Conversely, if wealth brings about arrogance, pride, and a lack of empathy, rendering one closed off to life's beauty and potential for good, it becomes a failure in disguise. Ultimately, the value we derive from any experience depends on how we choose to perceive and take from it. Our mindset transforms external events into what they mean to us, shaping our very selves. God uses setbacks as a means of growth and enlightenment. These experiences can lead us to new discoveries and previously unknown paths. Even the most accomplished individuals who have achieved remarkable success often look back on their failures with a sense of contentment and satisfaction. With the benefit of hindsight, all things can be viewed in a more radiant and fulfilling light, as if time itself has turned a page, revealing a broader, wondrous perspective. Many individuals are grateful today that a minor achievement they once strived for evaporated as they tried to grasp it. This is because failure often serves as the essential starting point for genuine success. When, in rare instances, someone can reflect on past failures and say, "Those setbacks were the greatest blessings I could have had," shouldn't they approach new challenges with unwavering bravery, confident that nature's transformative power may turn these fresh obstacles into stepping stones of progress? Our greatest aspirations are often shattered to pave the way for something even more magnificent. The caterpillar's demise marks the butterfly's emergence. The bud's withering heralds the rose's blossoming, and a seed's destruction paves the way for its rebirth as wheat. Interestingly, plants thrive most at night, during the darkest hours preceding dawn. Might this not be nature's subtle reminder to humans that we flourish in the darkness of failure, which ultimately yields to the light of success? Let us only fear neglecting our moral compass, leaving the outcome to the watchful care of the infinite. When reflecting on life's significant moments or cherished relationships, we often discover a surprising yet empowering thread connecting past struggles to present triumphs. By tracing each milestone back through the sequence of events, we realize that even sorrow and failure have been integral parts of our journey to happiness and success. In many cases, the roots of our most fulfilling achievements can be traced back to the challenges we once faced, with those difficulties eventually contributing to our growth and prosperity. No endeavor fueled by genuine purpose and consistency will ultimately fail. Even if it appears to be unsuccessful, such an experience can serve as a learning opportunity for future improvement, revealing the hidden lessons behind any perceived failures. A person striving with integrity towards their highest aspirations, in harmony with those ideals, is indeed successful, regardless of what superficial statistics or criticisms may suggest otherwise. Even the most admirable endeavors and courageous attempts can initially appear to falter or fail, but we shouldn't let these setbacks discourage us. Instead, they should serve as catalysts for further growth and resilience. The more challenging path may ultimately prove more reliable than a seemingly easier one that's without obstacles. Similarly, birds typically soar strongest when battling against the wind, and ships make the most progress when sailing through turbulent seas rather than languishing in calm waters with limp sail. Nature's transformative power surpasses even the most skilled alchemists, such as Paracelsus, in turning the base material of failure into the refined success that comes from perseverance. This process is facilitated when one maintains a steadfast and unwavering mindset, coupled with an unshakable resilience that refuses to yield despite adversity, continually striving for excellence while trusting that fate will ultimately align with their best efforts. "15. Doing our best at all times." Life's intricacies can overwhelm an individual until they experience an epiphany, leading to a profound understanding that it's possible to make life less complicated, not simplistic, but more straightforward. Despite the ages of philosophical inquiry, many fundamental moral dilemmas remain unclear, and humanity's most pressing questions have yet to be thoroughly explored. The cries for truth from those seeking answers are often met with silence, leaving their queries unanswered even beyond death. We all experience moments where a deep sense of uncertainty and hopelessness can overwhelm us, casting a shadow over our prospects and rendering us unable to act with enthusiasm. If a supreme being exists and justice prevails, we question why life unfolds as it does. We wonder, why do some people go hungry while others overindulge? Why is virtue often overlooked while wickedness thrives? Why does hard work frequently yield disappointment, whereas deceitful success is celebrated? How can it be that a devoted parent is taken by death while an unproductive burden lives on? And why does the world harbor so much unnecessary pain, sorrow, and suffering indeed? Why must any of this exist at all? For philosophy and religion offer incomplete explanations, leaving some mysteries unexplained. We must accept this uncertainty and rely on faith to navigate life's problems without doubt or confusion. Humans shouldn't expect absolute answers from the infinite. Instead, we should focus on a fundamental truth: the existence of a creator behind the world's wonders, with qualities like omniscience and omnipotence. Acknowledging our limitations, we must strive to do our best in every moment, continually seeking knowledge and living harmoniously with what we understand. If failure occurs, one can find peace in knowing they've done their utmost, facing the outcome with courage and no regret, knowing it couldn't have been different. On the basis of a well-established life plan, individuals are free to build upon it their chosen beliefs or philosophical perspectives, as long as they are genuinely committed to them. Moreover, one should strive to cultivate every available aspect of their being, moral, mental, and spiritual, in order to enrich their existence and live to the fullest potential. This straightforward trust doesn't contradict any dogma and isn't meant to replace one. Instead, it serves as a fundamental conviction, a secure stronghold where an individual can retreat and gain fortitude during life's challenges when they become overwhelming. A theoretical understanding of how to live is worthless without being applied in one's life. It's like a luxurious menu for a starving sailor adrift at sea, a mere annoyance rather than a source of sustenance. A principle or guideline for leading a better life will remain irrelevant until an individual actively incorporates it into their daily routine, allowing the idea to flourish into a multitude of thoughts, words, and actions. When someone genuinely strives to excel in all aspects of their life, this dedication permeates every moment, and even the smallest actions reflect their core values. Just as the sun equally illuminates both grand mountains and fallen leaves, and each ocean droplet embodies the entire sea's chemistry, a person should bring their best to whatever they do, regardless of how mundane it may seem. By investing their mind in their work, they can elevate even the most ordinary tasks and prepare themselves for greater opportunities when they arise. This mindset will not lead to complacency with one's circumstances, but rather foster a sense of divine discontent, eagerly accepting the good as a temporary stepping stone towards something better. The individual striving for excellence embodies a state of heightened awareness, enthusiasm, and proactivity. They vigilantly monitor even the smallest aspects of themselves, guided by the inner question, is this in line with my highest standards? Rather than seeking external validation through conformity to societal norms, what will the world say? Instead, their benchmark is self-respect, ensuring that all their actions are worthy of their own esteem. Renowned American actor Edwin Booth exemplified elegance even in his personal life, never slouching or adopting an ungraceful posture, even when no one was watching. His stage presence was effortless and natural, as he moved with an innate sense of poise. Conversely, those around him who were self-conscious about their movements came across as awkward, trying to correct their private habits in public. A person's sloppiness in daily life, reflected in their lackluster language, will never be replaced by grandeur on a special occasion. Living at one's best is a continuous process of preparation, ensuring that every moment is ready for prime-time performance. This approach doesn't lead to over-rehearsed, artificial, or pretentious behavior. Rather, it embodies the true essence of education, the intentional cultivation of natural habits and skills, rather than mere knowledge acquisition. One common mistake people make is to become overly focused on their perception of luck as the determining factor for others' success. They feel that everyone else seems lucky while they struggle with failure, unaware of the hard work, dedication, and perseverance required by those who achieve great things. True luck often lies in having prepared oneself to seize opportunities when they arise and being awake to recognize them. Those who do this tend to succeed, whereas the individual focused on luck may miss their own chances and become disheartened, envying others instead of striving to emulate them. As a result, they might go through life half-heartedly trying various pursuits or never truly committing to one. The resilient individual should recognize that setbacks are temporary blips on the radar of a person's life, never defining who they are. No philosophy can eliminate these challenges entirely, but cultivating steadfast courage to adapt and persevere helps one navigate difficulties and make the most of their circumstances. They may not be aware of the cumulative failures that underpin someone else's achievements or the sacrifices made by others. 16. The Royal Road to Happiness. Notorious German statesman Otto von Bismarck, renowned for his significant contributions to the 19th century, once candidly reflected on his life, stating that despite his impressive accumulation of wealth, fame, honors, power, influence, prosperity, and triumphs throughout his 83-year existence, he never experienced a full day of genuine happiness. Despite wielding control over an empire, Bismarck's personal life lacked sustained joy. Happiness is an enigmatic phenomenon that can flourish anywhere, unaffected by external circumstances. Its source lies within, much like sunlight radiates from the sun regardless of its surroundings. True happiness doesn't stem from what we possess, but from who we are and how we live in harmony with our values. Even in adversity, one's inner peace can yield a profound contentment that might surpass the joys of those in more favorable circumstances. People create their own happiness by living in accordance with their highest ideals. What we have may depend on others, but what we are is entirely within our control. The acquisitions we make in life are temporary, whereas personal growth and fulfillment bring lasting satisfaction. Happiness is the soul's joy in the pursuit of the intangible, an elusive yet attainable state. While humans can't achieve absolute, continuous happiness without exception, this paradoxical emotion often coexists with challenges, sorrow or hardship, demonstrating its capacity to transcend even difficult circumstances. Ultimately, it's a heart's gladness that rises above all conditions, an inner peace that shines through life's trials. Happiness has several lesser versions that mimic its essence: satisfaction, contentment, content, and pleasure. These imitations superficially resemble happiness, but lack its true nature. Satisfaction stems from aligning our desires with what we possess. It's an ongoing, incomplete feeling, where one is thankful for the quality of what's received, yet unsatisfied with the quantity. While satisfaction can be a component of happiness, it's not equivalent to true happiness on its own. True satisfaction occurs when our deepest desires and acquired possessions are perfectly aligned. However, this harmony is fleeting, as each fulfilled ideal spawns new ambitions. Every step forward reveals unmet goals, and every fulfillment inspires fresh cravings. As a result, the balance is disrupted and dissatisfaction re-emerges. One can possess all material possessions, yet still be unsatisfied, because happiness stems from satisfying one's soul, not just one's mind or body. Dissatisfaction, in its highest form, serves as the catalyst for progress, a sign of emerging aspirations and an assurance that new possibilities will continually unfold. Contentment is often overstated and can actually hinder personal growth. It's the acceptance of mediocrity when one could strive for excellence. Contentment is like pretending to enjoy something unpalatable or basking in the warmth of a past joy that no longer exists. In essence, it's a numbing force that prevents individuals from striving for more. One should never settle for anything less than their full potential. While contentment might make life easier, it stifles progress and innovation. A balanced approach is needed, being content with each step forward as a temporary milestone, but always striving to move further. There are moments when one can be satisfied with what they have, but never with who they are. The pursuit of self-improvement should always take precedence over complacency. Contentment isn't the same as enduring joy or lasting satisfaction. Momentary delight, pleasure, is fleeting, whereas true fulfillment, happiness, persists over time. Delight might be a single note, whereas happiness is an orchestral composition. Moreover, pleasure can coexist with inner turmoil and moral qualms, yet genuine contentment never does. Additionally, while pleasure may have its drawbacks or residues, such imperfections are non-existent in the cup of true fulfillment, happiness. Humans are uniquely capable of genuine happiness. While other creatures may experience fleeting pleasures, they can't truly attain happiness like humans do. Happiness arises when a person's life aligns with their values and standards. It's not something one can manufacture on their own. Rather, it emerges from living an unselfish life. One cannot focus solely on personal happiness and achieve it. It's like trying to jump at the end of one's shadow. To experience true happiness, aim beyond self-gratification. Prioritize other aspects of life over individual happiness, and it will naturally follow. While we can enjoy pleasure, contentment, or satisfaction, genuine happiness is not something that can be bought. Rather, it accompanies a life well lived, marked by peace, calmness, and freedom from worry and struggle. True happiness stems from an unconditional devotion to something beyond oneself. Regardless of context, at the core of every instance of genuine happiness lies the unwavering thread of love. Love between a parent and child, romantic love between two individuals, or even a deep affection for humanity and a meaningful life's work that consumes one's passion. Happiness stems from a positive outlook, trust, and genuine affection. No one can truly be happy with a cynical or pessimistic mindset. Cynics have limited moral vision, proudly so, focusing on the flaws within themselves and misjudging the world as a whole. They let minor imperfections overshadow the greater good, much like someone who lets a small speck in their eye obscure the sun. A chronic cynic would likely desire death, for life cannot bring them joy, but perhaps death could. The root of Bismarck's unhappiness was his deep skepticism towards human nature. One's path to true happiness can be summarized in 4 key steps: dedicating oneself, consecration, focusing on the present moment, concentration, overcoming obstacles and personal limitations, conquest, and living in alignment with a strong moral compass, consonance. By following this royal road, one can cultivate lasting fulfillment. Dedicating one's life for a greater purpose, rather than simply existing, is what consecration is all about. It's not just a matter of surviving on this earth, but striving to fulfill a higher ideal. This mindset shifts the focus from accumulating wealth as the ultimate goal to living a meaningful and selfless existence. When we prioritize kindness, compassion, and serving others, we're more likely to find true happiness. Consecration is an ongoing, courageous, and proactive pursuit that's unwavering in its commitment to lofty ideals, only faltering when it risks compromising those values. Focus elevates one's life, stripping away distractions and superficialities to reveal its true essence. This clarity eliminates energy-draining worries, fears, and regrets, allowing for a more fulfilling existence. A clear purpose in life serves as a powerful catalyst for focus, transforming daily struggles into meaningful challenges. Just as soldiers may forget their pain in the heat of battle, concentration can render petty troubles insignificant when driven by a noble cause. A focus not only dignifies ordinary lives, but also transforms them into something magnificent and sublime. Morally, it's a shortcut to simplicity, leading individuals to act with integrity for its own sake, rather than seeking personal gain or recognition. This laser-like focus brings about inner peace, a serene happiness akin to basking in the warmth of the sun. Overcoming negative habits, rising above adversity, and exuding spiritual strength are all aspects of conquest. This triumph can arise from resisting the pull of materialism, even when it seems hopeless or when doubts assail you. To truly conquer, one must tap into a profound faith in what is right, mastering inner struggles to ultimately dominate external challenges. It's not just drifting with life's currents that defines success. It takes courage and perseverance to swim against the tide. When faced with petty squabbles, envy, or misunderstandings, rise above them like a lighthouse guiding through turbulent waters. Conquest also means resisting the lure of fleeting gains at the expense of one's values or integrity. When you emerge unscathed from such temptations, you have truly conquered. Ultimately, conquest is an essential step on the journey to achieving lasting happiness. By persevering and staying true to oneself, individuals can overcome obstacles and realize their aspirations while maintaining a strong sense of self-worth and moral fiber. Conscience serves as a reliable guide, constantly steering us towards happiness. When an individual can genuinely connect with their conscience and receive its approval without resorting to force or deceit, they begin to understand true happiness. However, it's crucial to ensure that one's conscience is not misguided or dulled by past wrongdoings. Those seeking a life of devotion, focus, and triumph can confidently rely on their conscience as the ultimate source of guidance, ignoring external opinions and instead heeding its approval as a direct connection to the infinite. Unfulfilled longing leads to dissatisfaction, whereas a desire to contribute or help others fosters contentment. Genuine happiness can only be achieved after overcoming hardship, as the passage of time transforms our pain and sorrow into compassion and empathy for those around us. This process of healing and growth imbues our joy with a subtle undertone of melancholy tempered by the wisdom gained from experiences. If one dedicates a single day to spreading joy and improving lives for the benefit of others, they may discover the profound essence of happiness. Interestingly, even the most renowned heroes, through their collective acts of valor, wouldn't accomplish as much positive impact as an individual who consistently seeks to bring happiness to others throughout their lifetime. With each new day, people can cultivate a fresh sense of determination, increased vitality, and revitalized passion. This just for today mantra could inspire thousands of community groups across the nation, united in their quest to improve the world through small daily acts of kindness and love. By focusing on sharing joy rather than seeking it, they would